Righto, so back on the Vmax again today. Today's mission, try and get it running on all 4 cylinders. After the last video, a few people commented and said, oh, it sounds like it's run on 3 cylinders, and I was actually watching a video from a channel called Superbike Surgery, and he made a point. He said these V4 bikes, even if they're missing a cylinder, well, they just sound like a grumpy V twin. They're not. It's not as obvious when they are missing a cylinder. So sure enough, if I start it up, take my trusty temperature gun. Thing here reads about 30 degrees low for some reason. So this one, it's stone cold. So that one's not firing. I'll take mine. I'll make a noise.
Why?
For my video.
Why?
Why? Why do you always ask why?
Because I'll be yelling.
Anyway, as you can hear, it's a fuel delivery problem. So what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to restart it and I'll turn off the, unplug the fuel pump. And I'm hoping it's just going to be something simple like a block pilot jet. So let's have a look. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll show you when I've got the carburetor apart. Alright, so you can see this is the cylinder that's not firing, and you can see that's not in the best condition. If you look in the bottom of that bowl, there's quite a bit of sludge there. I actually dropped the little plugs. I just broke my little hose. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to clean the bottom of them out. Let's put them over there. And in the meantime, see that jet there? Looks like it's just been strangled with sludge. All right. Not a real healthy looking jet. I may as well do both while I'm here. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's not a jet. That's that thing. All right then. Yeah. Well, might as well take this thing out and clean it anyhow. Let's just have a look. What do we got there? 160. I'm just going to check, make sure they're both the same size jets, just in case someone's had a go at tuning this thing at some point. And that's a 162, so the mains are the same. And up in there, oh yeah, there's our pilot up in there, I believe. Somewhere. All right. Okay, it's not quite what I thought, but all right, I'll give these a clean and have another look at seeing if I can get the pilot jet, if it has a pilot jet in there. See how I go. All right, so I've yeah, pulled the jets out, pulled out these tubes, whatever they are, and I've taken the intake off. I've blown out these air jets. So I assume they're air jets. Just one thing, a strange thing I noticed about this setup is when you put that on there, if you look, the air jets are still exposed. So I don't know, is that meant to be like that? Is that a good idea? I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, so I've this isn't a full sort of carb rebuild. I mean, I think the carbs are in pretty good nick, but yeah, just I thought, well, I got the bowls off, I'll blow them out, and as you can see, I've had the bowls and the cleaner, the ultrasonic cleaner. So yeah, I put it all back together. Oh, and during the process, it's got a strange setup. It's got one accelerator pump that does all 4 carbs, and then you got this hose here, which is split and perished and broken. It goes over to the other side where it's also broken, and does the accelerator pump for the other side. So I'm guessing you know, if you haven't ridden the bike for a while, you've probably got to pump the throttle a few times to get any sort of accelerator pump action, but oh well. Yeah, so I'm going to put it all back together. I'll have to try and source some of that hose, which might be tricky. I don't know if it almost looks like chainsaw hose or lawnmower hose, fuel hose, but I'm guessing it's probably not. So yeah, put it back together and see what happens. Righto, sorted, running on all 4 cylinders. I'll give you a demo. what do you know? Now that it's running on 4 cylinders, the idle was a bit higher. Of course, there's me. I set the airflow on every cylinder equally with this doodad. Well, I was only running on 3 cylinders. Tuner. All right, so I'm going to put my these things here. I'll put them back on for now, but I've got a feeling. Well, for a start, this one, I think it's this one. Yeah, this one. It's loose. These things only, I think they're glued in there. So so I've got to re-glue this one, and I'll probably go through and redo them all. But I was actually thinking I might go through and shorten them up, because with the forward controls, they're just hanging here at the moment. Sort of my leg's going to be here, and I've got these air filters. Let's take them out of the bag. So I've got these fancy air filters that are going to go on there. Looks good, but the hole on that side is only very small. So yeah, have to do a bit of stretching there, or come up with some way to enlarge those holes, which I don't think is going to be real easy without. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of a jig, or somehow squeeze a block of wood or something in there, and yeah, mark it and cut it. Yeah, I'll have to be quite careful about how I do that. Alright, so what's next? I'm going to put these air induction trumpet things back on. I need to get some more of this hose. Yeah, it almost looks like, yeah, like I was saying, like lawnmower fuel hose. But lawnmower or chainsaw fuel hose, but I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why that might not be the best idea. But anyway, and then it's onto the forward controls, trying to, as you can see here, I've got that's roughly where it's going to sit, but it's hitting the case here, so I've got to kind of space that out. I mean, clearance is clearance, but I'm probably going to need a bit more than that. And of course, if I space this part out, that means I've then got to space out the brake master for the back. But yeah, see how I go. All right, so looking at the our forward control setup, it looks like I just sort of loosely sit that there. Looking like I'm going to be able to get away with a it's kind of hard to balance it all with one hand, but it's looking like I'm going to be able to get away with 10mm spaces, which is good, because I want to use the smallest spaces I can get away with. Yeah, because I've got clearance is clearance. If I've got clearance, that's fine. So just for this side, I've drawn up my little list of spaces that I've got to machine, and I've got my sticker aluminium here. So I'm going to go over to my neighbour's place and make these up. So yeah, if we have a look on the other side, I've actually just had a bit of a brainwave. This rod is too long. When you screw, this is screwed all the way into that fitting, and it's screwed in. Well, it's probably got a couple of millimeters space there, but it won't quite. Yeah, it only just lines up with the hole. So yeah, I'm wondering, to get this side to work, I'm going to have to shorten that rod up and probably re-tap the female thread at that end there. It's probably the easier one to do. But for now, I'll just concentrate on the right hand side. And so yeah, take my little list over, and when you see me next, I'll have a nice little pile of spaces right there. Alright, so I got my spaces done. So now the trick is I'm going to pull all this apart with my use my new collection of nuts and bolts that I got there and see how it all sits once it's all together. Alright, so back at it. I've got my forward controls installed. It's just loosely installed over this side just for sizing everything up. And on the other side here, of course this didn't exactly fit. I've had to space out the bracket there and make a spacer here just so this rod clears the cases. But this is actually all done now. That's all working. But I've kind of encountered a problem that well, I figured might be there, but basically with these trumpets I don't fit. If you look at it from this perspective, I'll probably show you me trying to sit on it, but it kind of forces your foot to be out like that. Imagine if I'm sitting on it. Yeah, it's just not going to work with these trumpets the way they are. So I'm wondering whether I get a sort of a 45-degree bend and see if there's room to sort of have these coming up sort of more vertically, or whether I can just take the easy way out and just shorten them. But so what it plus of course I've got the option of just putting the stock carbies back on, but I don't know. I've got them there. I don't know what sort of condition they're in. They may need a full rebuild, whereas this I know runs. So yeah, I could be biting off a lot more than I can chew. But what I think I'm going to do is I'll just take these trumpets off, sit on the bike, see how I go, and just see if there's any possibility of this working. So I don't want to spend all this time and effort on a bike setup that I'm going to hate riding. So alright, I'll give that a go, and yeah. Alright, so let's give it a go. They won't fall off. I've got a feeling the only setup that's going to practically work is just a really small trumpet. Yeah. I mean, it's just not enough clearance there for me to sit. I mean, if I clamp onto the bike like that, my knees are hitting this part, so it's going to be alright though. Yeah, I just have to shorten them right up. Alright. Yeah, righto. So I reckon if I shorten these right up, say cut them about there, that's going to work. Yeah, I know I might lose a few horsepower out of it, maybe. I can probably make could I make the front ones longer? I could, no, I probably wouldn't do that. But another thing that sort of kills me about this setup is you look at the these trumpet things are just glued in to the little base piece that sits on there quite nicely. It's just that there's a gap there. I imagine these have got to be open to the air, of course, but yeah, but it's just like even if you put a filter on the trumpet, where you've still got air going in at the base there, that through that little gap. So I don't know, that just seems a strange way of doing it. Makes me think I should probably make new ones of these and the old CNC router, but of course that's a pretty time consuming job. I suppose I should not going to be happy unless I do it though. Yeah. Alright, I'll put my thinking cap on and see what I can come up with. Right, so it's been an interesting afternoon. Managed to do a bit of crappy TIG welding. If you see what I've done here, so I machined up this small piece, I don't know if you can see that, that basically just fits over there like that. And as you can see, I'm a bit out of practice with the TIG, but I'm happy with the way it actually, yeah, got a bit carried away with the filler rod there. Need to get my eye in. But yeah, that'll clean up alright with a grinder. And yeah, I'm one of those blokes. So yeah, when I cut that off short, I'll actually weld that in there. And yeah, probably just do it in a few small places. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a bit of there's a recess there. I'll probably just touch that up with the die grinder just to expose make sure both the ends of these are fully exposed. I mean, they are. I mean, the verniers say they are. So I don't think they need a great deal of air going in there. But yeah, unfortunately, I've got to go back to work tomorrow for 2 weeks because that's what I do. But when I come back, just before I head off, I'll show you my this is the old CNC router. Now this thing's yeah, she's pretty basic. It's like the cheapest of the cheap CNC routers. It's an X-carve, and I think these things have gotten a lot better in the last few years, but mine's probably about 7 years old. But yeah, I've hammered this thing. I've worked it so hard, and it still keeps going. So no disrespect to the X-carve. So I've just paused that at the moment because it makes a high pitch squealing noise. And there's a G code happening. Alright, so that'll be it for now. Yeah, I'll speak to you all in a couple of weeks' time.